Okay, this assignment here is kind of more applications of multiplying and dividing fractions. I kind of split it up from the last one, okay? The unified thread shown in the following two pictures may have either a flat, round, crest, or root. Don't get intimidated by that, all that stuff, okay? If the sides of the unified thread are extended, a sharp V is formed. H is the height of the sharp V, okay? And the pitch P is a distance between two adjacent threads. So there's the P, that's called the pitch, okay? Right there. And then the height, of course, is how wide it is. Now there are formulas we're going to use to figure this out. So number one, example 1, A. Okay, it says H equals 5 over 16, okay? And I got to find what A and B are. So let's go look at A. Well, 1/8 times H. Well, I know H is 5 over 16, so it's 1/8 times 5 over 16. That's going to be 5 over 128. Okay, then B, 7/24 times H. H is 5/16, so 17 over 24 times 5 over 16. Okay, 85 3/84. That's pretty much all you do there, okay? Now, I don't know why I called that D, just go with it, okay? H equals 1/2. I got to find A and B. So it's the same thing as last time. A is 1/8 times H. Well, if H is 1/2, 1/8 times 1/2 is 1 over 16. Okay, B, 17 over 24 times H, so 17 over 24 times 1/2, that's 17/48. Okay, and then J, okay, P equals 1 over 32, and I just have to find C, so let's go look at C. 1/8 times P, okay, P is 1 over 32, so 1/8 times 1 over 32 is 1 over something, okay. I think it's 256, yep. Okay, that's pretty much all you do on that. Number 2, I'm going to do this from when I have tables, I'm going to do them because you have the tables on the document. The recipe for chicken salad makes 4 servings. A chef needs to make 25 servings one day, 42 servings the next. Find the amount of each ingredient needed for 25 servings and 42 servings. Okay, now the first thing I need to do, okay, for diced celery we need 1 1/4 cups for 4 servings. Now I'm going to divide by 4, okay, and why I'm dividing by 4 is because I want to find the number of cups for just 1 serving. So it's 1 1/4 divided by 4, so 5 over 16. Now the point of that is now that I know that's for 1 serving, I can just take 5 over 16 times 25, and that gives me how much? So 7 and 13 over 16ths of a cup. Okay, then 5 over 16 times 42, 13 and 1/8 of a cup. Okay, that's your answer. Sliced celery, 3/4, that's for 4 servings, so we're going to divide that by 4, and that's going to be 3 over 16. Now I can take 3, if that's for 1 serving, take 3/16 times 25, I need 4 and 11/16 for 25 servings. 3/16, remember 3/16 isn't even a half, so times 42, 7 and 7/8. Okay, 6 divided by 4, don't write the decimal. 6 divided by 4 is 1.5, but that's 1 1/2. So 1 1/2 times 25. Okay, 37.5. Then 1 1/2 times 42. 63. Okay, 8 so it's going to be 2 per serving. 2 times 25 is 50. 2 times 42 is 84. Okay, 1/3, you have to divide it by 4, so it's even less than a third. That's 1/12. It's like a test. 1 out of 12 is less than 1 out of 3. on a test, percent-wise, okay? So then I take 1/12 times 25. I got 2 and 1/12. And 1/12 times 42. 3 and 1/2. Okay, 3/8 divided by 4. So it's going to be, and also really when you divide by 4, you can just multiply the bottom by 4. It's 3/32. So 3/32, that's for one serving times 25, 2 and 11/32. And 3/32 times 42 is 3 and 15/16. I'm going to skip the rest of this on the assignment. You have to do it, but I want to speed this video along. Okay. You're not really learning anything when I start just doing a repeat. Okay. Example 3. This just tests your ability to follow directions. Okay. There's an A, a B, and a C. An interior decorator applies the following steps in computing the width of a non-draw sheer window draperies. Okay, first they measure the window length, then they triple the window length measurement. Now it says allow 1/3 foot on each M. That means whatever you're cutting, okay, you have to add 1/3 on because you're just gonna, that's waste. You have to account for it by adding, okay? So when you're planning your job, you account for it by adding. There's 2 required on each window, okay? 2 1/3 foot hems. Okay, part A, find in feet the width of a drapery fabric needed for 3 5 1/2 foot wide windows. So first I measure the window length, 5 1/2, done. Then triple the length, that means times it by 3, and that's going to be 16 1/2. Why you do that, I don't know. I'm not like an interior designer. Okay. Okay, now allow 1/3 of a foot. Here's what you need to do. Okay. Okay, ready for this? You're going to add 1/3, and you need 2. Okay, so 16 1/2 foot plus 1/3 times 2. 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. Okay, so I need to add 2/3 onto that. So 16 1/2 plus 2/3. Okay, I got 17 1/6. Okay. Now we need to multiply that by 3 because there are 3 windows. Okay, so that's what I need for each window. Okay, triple the length, measure the length, triple the length. You got to add 1/3 and then times by 2 because it says you need 2 on each window. This here is just for one window. So I take 17 1/6 times 3 and 51 1/2. 51 1/2 feet. Okay, next one. I measure the width, 7 3/4, and then I triple it. As far as why you triple of it, I couldn't tell you, but they do give you those directions. I'm not just making it up. 23 1/4. But now you got to account for your waist, okay? So you add 1/3, but remember, it needs 2 on each window. Okay. So that's again 2/3. It's going to be 2/3 every time. So 23 1/4 plus 2/3. 23 11/12. So that's just for one window, but we need 2, so I need to times it by 2. 47 5/6 feet. Okay, finding total feet, the total width of drapery needed for all the windows. Well, you just add them, okay? 51 1/2 plus 47 5/6. Kind of a pointless problem because the tripling is kind of doesn't really make any sense. Okay, 99 1/3. There are other ways you can do that. Okay, definitely. So again, you take your 5 1/2, triple it. Okay, Then you add 1/3 on twice, or just 1/3 times 2. You add that on, which is going to be 2/3. Okay. Then since you need 3, you just times it by 3. Here you need 2, so you times it by 2. Okay, next one, example 4. At the end of summer, a home improvement center has an end-of-season clearance sale on outdoor materials. The amount of price markdown depends on the particular merchandise. What's the total bill? Item 1, the list price is $12, but you get 1/3 mark off. Okay. So, what you're going to do to find the price of item 1, I'm just going to write it right in the table. Okay. First off, you take 1/3 times 12. That's not your price, though. 1/3 times 12 is how much is off. 1/3 of 12 is 4. Then you subtract 4 from 12, so 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, so I'm going to put $8 right there. Okay, now I take 1/5 of 30. That's 6, but that's not your price. That's how much was taken off. So you take your 30 minus 6, and that's 24. Okay, 1/4 of 24 is $6. Okay, but that ain't your price. Then you take your proceed to take your 24 minus 6. It's $18. Then item 4, we take 1/2 of 45. Now that's going to be 22.5. Okay, or 22.50. Okay. Actually, I want that to be 44. Switch that to a 44. Half of 44, so 22. Because you wouldn't write a fraction, you write a decimal. So 44 minus 22 is 22. Okay. Okay, now we're going to find the total price. So that cost $8. I found that, but I'm buying 3 of them. So 8 times 3 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. 18 times 4 is 72. 22 times 2 is 44. So you add up all those, and that's going to be your total bill. 24 plus 48 plus 72 plus 44. $188. That's something you should kind of get a grasp on what I do in that. Okay, number 5. Again, with those tables, I like to write on the table. A sheet metal technician is required to cut 5 15 pieces of 2 5/16 inch lengths of brand iron, allowing 1/64 inch waste for each cut. So we have to add 1/64 every time I cut. The pieces are cut from a strip of brand iron that is 160 3/4 inch long. How much stock is left after all the pieces are cut? Now you're cutting, so you're going to take 100. Now some people might, and you're cutting 15 pieces off. So how much is left? How much is left would insinuate we need to subtract something. Okay. Well, every time I'm cutting, it's 2 5/16, but I need to add the waste onto it. Okay, because every time I cut, I got to account for the waste. And then I do that 25 times, so times 25. And that's how to set up kind of when you're cutting a bunch of pieces of equal length. With the waste, you add the waste, but then you got to multiply it by 25. So I take 2 5/16 and add 1/64. So that's 2 21 over 64. Then you're cutting that 25 times. So that's really how much you need for a piece. The actual piece itself plus the waste. Okay. Then you multiply it by 25. So 58 and 13 over 64. So I have 160 3/4 minus 58 and 13 over 64, and that's going to be my answer with what I have left. Now it's tempting just to multiply that by that and subtract, but you got to add the waste on before you do that. That's how waste works in industries or any kind of technician. 101 and 3 over 64. Okay, inches. That's how you find remaining length. Because you once you find how many pieces can you cut, you're finding that you already know there's 25. Number 6, a printer selects a type for a book, that means type, like a certain, like New Times Roman and stuff, that averages 10 1/2 words per line and 35 lines per page. The book has 4 chapters. The number of pages in each chapter are as follows: 16 1/2, 14 2/3, 18 1/2, 25 1/3. How many words are in the book? Okay, so we're solving for the words. So definitely I need words in a ratio here. Now look at all these amounts are pages, okay? I'm going to use pages. Now you could use lines if you want, but it makes it more complicated. It's going to be easier to use words and pages. That's how I'm going to choose to set it up. 10 1/2 words, okay? But I want to know how many pages, But you see, if I'm doing words and pages, there's 10 1/2 words per line, but 35 lines per page. So to find the number of words per page, we need to times our 10 1/2 by 35, okay? Because there's 10 1/2 words per line, okay? And there's 35 lines per one page. So I take 10 1/2 times 35, and I get 367 1/2. Now, I'm going to round that actually to 368 because you don't get a half word on a page. Okay, it's just that right there. Now, how many pages are actually in the book? Again, that's your rate, 368 words per page, makes sense. And then how many pages? Well, we're going to add these up. So 16 1/2 plus 14 2/3 plus 18 1/2. Because you know there's always like a page in a book where they cut it off. Makes it the reading go faster. So 75 pages, okay? So you can just 75 times 368. 27,600 words. Kind of a tough one because the rate of words and pages can be found. You can find how many words are in one page. You just got to times the word that by 35. Okay, example 7. A nurse practitioner gives a patient a quarter tablet of morphine for pain. One morphine tablet contains 1/3 grain of morphine. How much morphine? Wait a second, that's really screwed up. How much, cross that out. How much morphine does a patient receive? Okay, the units are going to be tablets and grains, okay? So, tablets, grains, tablets, grains. One tablet is 1/3 of a grain. Well, I have a quarter of a tablet, so how much morphine's that? Well, we're going to take 1/3 times 1/4. Okay, we don't really need to divide by 1. It's 1/12. Okay, example 8. A nurse practitioner gives 3 1/2 tablets of ibuprofen. Each tablet contained 125 milligrams. How many milligrams of ibuprofen did the patient receive? Okay, so tablets and milligrams would be the key units. Okay, 3 1/4, it doesn't say anything about the milligrams, so that's your actual amount of tablets you have. Now the rate, each tablet, one tablet is 125 milligrams, so we're going to multiply. 125 times 3 1/4, 406 1/4 milligrams. Again, so if each tablet's that much, he's going to get 3 1/4 tablet. He's going to get a lot more milligrams. Okay, example 9. A certain car model requires 25 1/2 inches of 1/3 inch air conditioning hose. The 1/3 is not important, okay? 25 1/2 inches of air conditioning hose. How many inches will be needed for 10 cars? So let's use cars in inches. And you can do problems other ways. Some of them you can just multiply and divide. I'm just using rates to kind of set the thing up. Okay, a certain car, well that's one car, needs 125 1/2 inches, so I have my rate. Now the actual amount is 10 cars. We're trying to find out how many inches. So 10 times 25 and 1/2, I think it's 255. So 255 inches. Okay, example 10. Okay, a race car averages 3.5 miles per minute. Okay, how far will this car travel in 1.5 hours? Okay, so 3.5 miles per minute, how far in 1.5 hours? Okay, so let's use miles and hours, okay, because I want to know the hours. Miles, hours, miles, hours. Actually, check that. Let's use, it says miles per minute. Let's use miles minutes. You could do miles per hours, but miles per minute is going to work better. Okay. Because we know we have 3.5 miles per 1 minute. That's your rate. Okay. Now 1.5 hours I can convert to minutes quite easily by multiplying it by 60. Okay. Which is 90. So 90 minutes. So I can take 3.5 times 90. 315. That's the answer for A. What's the average speed in miles per hour? Well, miles per hour, you just divide the miles by the hours, just like you did the miles per gallon. So you know you have 315 miles, and you have 1.5 hours. You can just divide to find the miles per hour, miles per gallon. You really should just be dividing. Okay, don't overthink it. Okay, 210. Now it's a race car, so it goes pretty fast. MPH. Example 11. This is not hard. It's really something you should know how to do. An employer pays a worker $18 per hour for the first 40 hours of work in a week. The worker is paid 1.5 times that rate for each hour of overtime. How much would the worker pay for a 46-hour week? So this wages, you got regular and overtime. Okay. Your regular pay is $18 per hour, okay? Well, that's for 40 hours that you work all the time, and that's $720. Now, the overtime pay, that's every hour over 40, you get paid more. So you take your 18 times 1 1/2. That's 24. So he makes $24 every hour over 40. Well, he worked 46 hours. How many hours is 46 over 40? It's 6. Okay. So 24 multiplied by 6 is 144. Add those. That's your answer. 720 plus 144. $864. How much this guy takes on.